So guys, before you go into the vlog, there is an incident that happened with me while traveling through Network Travels bus that I'm going to be discussing in the second half of the vlog. So please be mindful of that. Again, my journey traveling through Zenab Travels from Dirang to Tawang was amazing, but this journey from with network travel was not at all good. So I would suggest, don't book network travel, go for Zenab Travels if you're traveling alone and you're a girl. Hi everyone, welcome back to my travel diaries. Today I'm in Bomdila and it's lunchtime, and I'm going to explore some Naga cuisine, and after that we're going to just walk and explore Bomdila on foot. Guys, that was a very heavy lunch, and after such a heavy lunch, I feel like going to my room and sleeping, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to explore Bomdila on foot, and because this is a transit town, there are not a lot of activities or things to do over here. What you do is, from Tawang, I took a shared sumo to Bomdila. I rested in Bomdila, and today I have a bus to go to Guwahati. And in the meantime, I have around 3-4 hours to spend. So I'm just going to go over the market. There is a monastery, there are some viewpoints. So we are going to go and explore that. First stop is the monastery. We are at the beautiful Bomdila Monastery, and I'm going to go inside over here because I think this gate is closed, but there's some noise coming from here. So I'm just going to go in and see over there and pray. So I'm just taking a stroll down the Bomdila market. This is the main market, and as you know, I like staying in main market, so I'm staying in this area only and just walking on foot, seeing if there are some unique and interesting things that I can buy. Guys, just look at that. That's like the Antilla of Bomdila. Whichever guy made this is surely the richest man in Bomdila. So I'm currently at the Bumla Pass, and my bus is 2 hours late. The bus was supposed to come here at 6. It's going to be 8 now, and the bus is still 5-10 minutes away. Once I get this bus, I'm going to sit in this bus and have another overnight journey from Bumla to Guwahati. I was supposed to reach Guwahati at around 6 in the morning. Now probably I'll reach at around 8. So this is again a 12-hour journey, but this is the best way to travel from Bumla to Guwahati. So just waiting for my bus. So I've reached my Airbnb in Guwahati safely, but an incident happened on the journey that I wanted to talk about. When I entered the bus was already 2 hours late, and I was irritated. I kept my luggage behind, and when I entered the bus, there were already a lot of men sitting in seats. There were only 2 women who were sitting beside each other, and there were people sitting on plastic stools, men sitting on plastic stools, that I was very shocked. Then the driver asked me what my seat number was, and I told him that my seat number was 22. So he made a man get up from that seat and gave me that seat, and the man pulled up a plastic stool and sat on the aisle on that. Now I had made this booking through Redbus, so I complained to Redbus saying that you know, there are too many people in the bus and there is a man sleeping beside me. This is an overnight journey and I'm not comfortable with it. Redbus didn't take any action. They said we are going to talk to the tour operator and cut the ticket, resolve the ticket. After that, no action was taken. Now, I wanted to complain to the driver, but the thing was that there were already no seats left, right? So the guy who was sitting beside me would have to sit on a plastic stool again for no fault of his own. So I avoided complaining and I made it through that journey, the overnight journey, with a man sleeping beside me. Now, few questions that I, as a person, as a girl traveling alone, was a little bit concerned about. A, if I have booked it through Redbus, why isn't Redbus more proactive? When they give me an option, they tell me that okay, this seat is booked by a woman, so the seat beside it has to sit a woman. Now, when that doesn't happen, what is the redressal for that? What is the way that Redbus is held accountable for it? The second thing is these bus drivers who pick up people on the way who have not booked the bus. The person who was sitting beside me, he didn't mistreat me or anything of that sort, but the fear that I had to live through for the 2 hours, initial 2 hours of the journey, was not worth it. How many of these drivers we've seen while we travel in bus, they just pick up people randomly and they make them sit. So for a few ₹100, my safety and my bus journey was compromised. And then again, how fair is it for the passengers who are traveling unreserved that they have to sit on plastic stools for this 12-hour journey that they are going to make? So is India really safe for women? Are we thinking about women traveling alone, enforcing laws? Why are we always in a reactive mode saying that okay, this has happened, now there should be, you know, a law for it? Why can't we have a more proactive approach towards things? So these are some of the things that I just wanted to discuss. Overall, this wasn't a very good journey or a very good experience for me. The 12 hours that I sat in that bus, I was constantly uncomfortable. I was constantly feeling very, very insecure, and it wasn't a good experience for me. So I would again think twice before, you know, going on such an adventure in India. If that is the case with me, who is an Indian, born and brought up in India, how safe is India for foreign travelers who have not seen any of these incidents? So I would humbly request, you know, the concerned people to think about this, to take some action. And if you see a lady traveling with you in a journey, just make sure that she's not uncomfortable like that, she's not feeling bad or anything of that sort. And let's make India tourism friendly for solo women. Thank you.